apologize, I meant Zudi. I would
7B?
yeah, and just because I don't want him to, the condition of approval should be, the existing accessory structure on the site must be moved to meet the 20 feet side setback, or a variance must be granted. And then that way, that gives us some flexibility to review that portion of the request. That would have to come back at the next meeting, but I think we could get that on the next meeting.
May I ask a question of the applicant? Are you okay with a delay in order to make it in a, like, versus it not being approved? I mean, with your two options, right?
What are we talking about? Is it a month?
It'd be, so the next meeting would be June 2nd. So I would need a narrative from you, because I can't make up the narrative for you. So I would just need a written narrative. I could email you. I was planning on taking the day off tomorrow, but I'll for sure email you by Monday, maybe tomorrow if I read.
So I come back, is it another public hearing?
Variances are not a public hearing if they're by themselves, so that part would be easy enough. And I don't know what our official stance is on consent agendas. Maybe we could put that on the consent agenda if there is a willingness tonight.
All I care about is shipping garage before it snows.
Fair enough. Nope, fair enough.
So then,
I'm willing to wait.
okay, then I would be prepared to make a motion to approve this with the 7B adjustment that the applicant needs to either move the accessory structure or applicant needs to apply for a variance.
I second that.
Is that a motion?
That was a motion. I said I would
I'll second
make a
that.
motion.
I'll third it.
Where we-
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the resolution for a conditional use permit, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay,
You get to see the magic and
And it is a really nice street you live on. I drove past there today and really nice street, so enjoy it.
Maybe that we may inherit a trail like.
Oh.
Sometime in the near future.
I'll be in touch on Monday.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
You know.
okay, item 7A. Anybody with, oh wait, we're not done yet, are we?
We have E.
Yeah, sorry, got ahead of myself. Item 7E, public hearing for preliminary plat and variance at 7310 Rolling Hills Road. Do we need to read the staff report?
No.
no. That's
I'll concur.
crazy.
I've read it, I've been to the site. So let's just go and open up the public hearing. Is there anybody, there's nobody in the audience anymore, is there anybody online that would like to address this commission on the preliminary plat and variance?
All right, one last time, if you would like to speak at the public hearing, please press *9 now on your phone or raise your hand via the reactions tab. The raise your hand function will be there. Do that now. And we do have one caller, iPhone 2, and then unfortunately we're having technical difficulties, so I will need you to call me. Oh, you got it. Thank you. Hello, iPhone 2?
Yes, this is Paul Hughes, 7435 Rolling Hills Road.
Perfect. Go ahead and state your
I
comments.
have a question regarding this property. We live basically across the street from it. And I'm curious as to the qualifications for the split.
I'm sorry, what the qualifications for the split?
For the split of the lot, yes.
Okay.
Our,
Go ahead.
when we purchased our property with the lot split, I don't know if it was 60 acres or whatever, we were basically told that the lots that were split were going to be the lots that were here. So I'm curious as to how we're splitting this lot into 3 pieces.
I think it's only 2.
Yeah, so, Planning Commission, if I can speak to that. So on 7320 Rolling Hills, that parcel will be split into 2. The reason why it's considered a 3-lot subdivision is because they are working with a adjacent property owner that has development rights, and so they're going through a process to reassign one so they can do this split. They are proposing no changes, really. It's just developing that lot line, because there's already 2 houses on that property. And so,
Right, yeah.
So that's basically just making it officially 2 different parcels right there. They're not adding in a 3rd parcel on that property.
Okay. I guess that's all I had.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Is there anyone else on the public that would like to speak? Last call. I'm sorry, on the Zoom call. Last call for comments. I don't see any other hands raised at this time.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to end the public comment.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor of ending the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed. All right, commission discussion and recommendation.
May I?
Yes.
So first, I wanted to point out that I like the way that this staff report was drafted. I think that staff did a really nice job of laying out the issues and presenting multiple options. I think this was well-informed, and well-reasoned, but also provided more than enough depth. So I thank staff for this. Even with the synthesis in the report, this is a pretty complicated matter. So here, the subdivision itself complies with the code. The issue is these accessory structures. So before I get there, I do have a question. Why was the transfer of a development right required? Just for my own continuing education, can you please clarify that a development right is not only required to build, but is it also required for a subdivision?
So essentially, the lot did have a development right in terms of they're able to build on it. And so originally, there were 6 development rights on a 60-acre parcel, and those were all subdivided out. And then at this point, for them to further subdivide this lot that has this farmhand house, they need to, if they didn't have anyone around them that had an extra subdivision right, they wouldn't be able to do it, but they had actually 2 property owners that share a property line, so they can plat the properties together, basically combining it into a single lot, essentially. You can reassign the development rights from there. It's a private sale agreement that they've worked through. And so the property to the east has 12 development rights currently. And so they've worked out a sale where 1 development right is going to be reassigned to allow for this lot split. And then 11 rights will remain on that 3rd lot that fronts County Road 50.
Okay, thank you. So there are a total of 12 accessory structures between lots 2 and 3 that are impacted by this application. The accumulated footprint of the accessory structures exceeds the amounts allowed, and not by some nominal amount either. Lot 2 is requesting a total of 3,561 square feet above the maximum, more than double the amount allowed. Lot 3 is requesting a staggering 14,137 square feet more than what is allowed. That's 7 times the allowable amount by right, and this is a significant departure. So for a variance, the city code provides that there must be, quote, practical difficulties in complying with the zoning ordinance. I do not think that the applicant has pled a good case for there being practical difficulties. As staff noted, the problem could be alleviated entirely by removing the accessory structures. Moreover, the owner can still reasonably use his property as he or she pleases, just with fewer accessory structures. Removal of some of these structures would not result in depriving the applicant of using the property in a reasonable manner. Up to 7 times the allowable footprint for these structures is unreasonable. This in turn would mean that the only practical difficulty complying would be financial. The cost of removing the structure to bring the property into compliance. Now, as we know, financial difficulties don't cut it for the grant of a variance. Or, quote, economic considerations is not a practical difficulty, as defined by Corcoran City Code Section 1070.040, Subdivision 2. On those grounds, I vote to recommend a rejection of this application to the council. Though the analysis, I think, can stop at that prong, I do want to give a little attention to the requirement that, quote, the conditions upon which a petition for a variance is based are unique to the parcel of land for which the variance is sought and were not created by the landowner. And I'm quoting from our city code. I think that on this point, the landowner's arguments are okay. The history is unique to this parcel, but as noted in the staff report, it's not like it's a physical condition like a river running through the yard. So in the same analysis, I would be interested in hearing from my colleagues on this issue, mentioned by the city attorney and noted in the staff report, that the landowner in the context of a variance application means all owners of land over time. So for example, if a condition is made by my property's previous owner, does that count against me as the current owner? Our code does not say require that a hardship is, quote, not created by the applicant. It says landowner. Just the same, the code says created by the landowner in the singular sense. It does not read not created by the landowners, plural. I know that others may not share my excitement and enthusiasm for statutory interpretation, but I think since the issue was raised, it would be good to at least keep this in the back of our minds as variance requests are made. I think that the application should not be recommended to the council. I do not think that there are practical difficulties complying with the ordinances that are any more than financial. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anybody else? All right, did anybody go out and look at the site?
Yes, I'm familiar with it, and I will be honest that if someone is intending to use it as a farm, I don't understand why it would want to be divided into two parcels. That is ultimately my question. But
Well,
I know it won't be
there are
answered.
different families, even though they are related. And the problem is always going to be transferring title.
Ownership.
It's an ownership thing.
Thank you for answering that.
I understand his point, why he wants to do it.
Sure.
With regard to that, there was a question about whether or not the city would require them to build or to install another
Separate well.
well. In my discussions with him, I said, look, I don't have an axe to grind in this thing. I can understand why there was only one well to begin with, but if I was an owner of one of these parcels, regardless which one it is, I would want my own well, just out of security for my own private property, or my own property. Because if the well goes out on one, it'll go out on both. Let that one go to the city council as to whether or not, so what was the staff recommendation?
Essentially, the recommendation, and I just want to, he is raising his hand, so I don't know if we want to have him call in the applicant, but the staff recommendation regarding the well is to have the state of Minnesota review it. If they're okay with it,
Sure.
then we're fine. We just need a shared well agreement. If it's not something that the state of Minnesota is okay with, then they need to get a new well on lot 2.
Okay. Now, in my discussions with Mr. Zudi,
Zudi, I believe.
Zudi?
How do you say it? Yeah.
as we walk through the property, I can't, I'm sorry, this is unacceptable, okay? I don't know what size he's come in, but trying to look at this thing, an 8.5 by 11 with large property and small
Yeah,
buildings and
I
small print.
apologize. That may have
This
been
is unacceptable for our use.
Yeah,
So
I-
someone's gonna have to bring up, I can't even tell what
I can bring it up.
what sheds these are, but
There's a zoomed in, let me just get the queue going. Oh, that's- great. Yep,
it
no,
would,
I'm getting there, sorry.
it would appear that the applicant is, all right, what is on lot 3? The one that goes north and south,
This one right here.
really long.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that H?
There's,
Yeah, I know what it is. I
Oh.
can't see what the designation is.
Oh, that
It's
was.
the one at the far back?
No,
No,
no.
no.
Farther west,
Oh, E?
farther west.
The skinny one that runs
Farther west.
north?
Keep going.
Left, left, left.
It's
right
E.
Right there.
E.
Equipment storage.
yep, shed E.
Okay.
Equipment storage.
He had indicated to me that that is going to be removed.
Yeah, he said, I'm open to removing E, H, and Quonset if necessary.
Yep, so that's E, H, and
H.
Quonset.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, now, are you sure the Quonset isn't,
No, Quonset's F. Oh, must
No, the
be.
Quonset is right here. It's
Oh,
its
no.
own
Oh, yeah.
structure.
no, that's wrong. The Quonset is on the southern property line.
Yeah.
This
It
is
it is
the,
labeled that.
What you have back there is a regular traditional pole building.
all right, well, this is the survey provided by Paul Otto.
Well, Otto got it wrong.
Okay.
The Quonset is actually on the southern property line. It's a nice building, it's functional. It's heated, it's in good shape, I have no problem with that. There is nothing on this property line that, interferes with a neighbor, because the road goes right by there, so this is just some grassland. So, yeah, this long skinny one, I would say should be removed. This God, I can't just read it. What is the square one?
This one?
No, up.
That's D, but still on lot
There you go.
D.
Yep, shed D.
Okay, shed D. It's kind of a big shed. It's 2 stories tall. I didn't go inside. I don't know what kind of condition it is in. Because as I look at some of this stuff here, it's an issue of condition and usability, and access. So, yeah, just, I might say, yeah, make him remove that one long one, but now you go to the north one, I don't know, the train booth,
The caboose,
the caboose,
tool shed.
it's kind of deteriorated a little bit. You've got that one shed up there on the north side, solidly built lean-to, open-ended on the south side, but it is in the wetland. And unfortunately, maybe years ago, you could get access to it. Now, I was able to walk into there, but as it continues to be overgrown, and as the water tables seemingly continue to rise around here, I got trails, I can't mow anymore. I could 5 years ago, but I can't anymore. That building is just simply gonna lose functionality, but moving it out of the wetland isn't an option. I don't know how you move a building like that. With the staff recommendation was to tear it down, correct, or to move it?
Are you talking about shed A up here?
Yes.
Yeah, basically remove or relocate it out of the wetland buffer area. That would be the option at this point.
Yeah. So I think, I said, you know what, I might just recommend you just decide whether you want to remove it. But there are certainly some buildings there where structurally they should be removed for the safety and health of anybody who's out on the site. But anything that has some functional use, it could be saved. So I'm all for granting the application. as it is. I don't really, the argument to keep things, rural, our history and stuff is great, but I think we should all remember, he is not a farmer. This was built as a commercial farm, and it was big back in its day. It is no longer big. The buildings don't serve a function for what he utilizes the property for. Having a garden and a couple chickens and some goats is not, so I could see the argument if you were to say, you got just too darn many buildings, you don't need it for that. But I guess for prosperity's sake and whatnot, I'm willing to, hey, split the lot, keep whatever buildings have value or use to you, take down everything else that doesn't.
Wait, that you're saying leave it up to him, basically.
Well, I mean, we're not judges here.
Right.
To determine the suitability of any building.
Yeah.
We're left with, you got 16,000 square feet of buildings, you're only allowed 3. So you tear down everything to get to 3, and that's it.
Oh, that's what you're suggesting?
No.
Get in compliance?
Well, no, I'm suggesting he keep them, but he determined which ones he needs to remove over and above that, so.
Yeah, my take on this was, I don't like the government. He's allowed to have them right now. I know it's a little different than I'm remodeling a house and now they want you to fix all these other things that were out of compliance because you'll bring it up to code. So I can think that's kind of the stance you're taking, right? Is, yeah, I struggle a little bit with that with some buildings that are sitting there. So I'm a little torn on that, I guess.
I apologize for interrupting. I just want to make it clear that the applicant does have his hand raised. We haven't really addressed it.
Oh.
Can you-
If you want him to call in, it's up to you.
Yeah, you can. What is FIRA? I honestly
You
got.
can ask him. Tony, can you please give me a call on my phone number? It is 763-258-4272.
Oh, that's not an official,
All right, he says yes, so he's calling me. So again, one more time, Tony, that was 763-258-4272. There he is. Tony?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm calling from the hospital, so if you guys hear any overhead pages, just I might go off. I've been hearing the discussion. I think I've heard the concern from my front neighbor. I know that this farm was built as an initial 60-acre farm, and I do acknowledge and I'm aware that there are a couple buildings that are probably too big for the purpose that I want to use. The idea is to, my mother lives in a small house and I live in a big house, and I want to use this opportunity to split the land and have title, so there would be wealth within the family going forward. As far as keeping the building, I did walk through with the counselor. That building, which is I think E, the long skinny one, is going to be removed because it's not in good shape. The rest of the building can slowly serve purpose. I am not, I'm a full-time hospitalist, maybe half-time, but I do intend to do some farming, mostly gardening, and then keeping some animals as a homestead. So the square footage is a little bit more, but we do intend to renovate some of the building. For example, the building in the middle, we have, decided to change the roof, which we did because there was water damage. So I do consult with engineers. If some of the buildings are not safe, then we will remove them. So that's the reason for the application. And my other neighbors, farmers from the east and the west, are aware and they're supportive. Just to put that in there. Was there any other questions you guys wanted to ask?
Tony, what is FIRA? FIRA, what does that mean?
Oh, I think Paul asked me Paul Otto asked me for what should we call it, and it was kind of a family nickname for me, which means family and friendly. That's all.
Oh, okay.
And I apologize, Natalie, for putting you through all the. I'm not familiar with all this process, and I initially did not know what the process is going to be. So
Yeah.
I think I might have been a little bit pain in the butt at times. So
No,
apologize.
no, you were fine. Was that all your comments for now?
Yes.
And was there any other questions for Emily on the line? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the phone call, Tony, and we'll let you know if anything else comes up, okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I make a motion to end the discussion?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
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 All right, opposed? All
The
right,
public
public-
hearing was already closed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
This is,
The applicant.
Our
trying to see
discussion.
whether-
yes. But I will make a motion to support staff's recommendation.
So we have two resolutions.
All right, there's Resolution A and Resolution B. So both of them are approving the preliminary plat, but one is denying the variance, one is approving the variance, so.
So that's what the one that,
You're doing.
A is the one that approves the variance, correct?
No,
No, B.
B.
B approves the variance. That's what I highlighted. So, are you?
I will make a motion to approve Resolution B.
I'll second that motion.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving Resolution 2022B, approving the preliminary plat and approving a variance, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Not tonight because it's late, but it would be interesting to further discuss the issue that you brought up for future. What is the definition of landowner legally? So just making a note of that,
Thank
but not tonight.
Okay, we are now done with our public hearings. Is there any, item 7C? Moving along. Planning project update. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. Moving right along. City council report. Counselor Van Camp.
Anybody got any questions?
Nope.
I don't want to make it long, but I do have a question about the, any update regarding the writing of another ordinance that would prevent protesting in residential neighborhoods.
Still under, I haven't seen anything yet, so I have not seen that at all from Matt. I'll ask about it one more time. We're still working also on the gun ordinance too. That'll be a meeting next week. But I know that meant a lot to you. You spent a lot of time explaining to me, so.
Just because I wasn't sure it was necessary, just adding that comment, okay.
Yep. And
I
then-
would agree.
Not to make the night any longer, but again, on the area, Hackamore 101, that development and such, that developer brought that based off of requests from the Virginia neighborhood, those kind of things, save as much screen, we don't want to see it, all of those things. I also wanted to make a note, most of the folks, all except one that made comments were from the neighborhood at the south side of Ravenna in Plymouth. They have a wonderful community and such. I can't, it's hard to continue to make that. It's a fill-in spot, and the comments from the one person saying, I'm going back on what I've been saying, I think Chair Jacobs, I think you all want larger lots and not so tight setbacks and those kind of things. That's what I want. But in that neighborhood down there, I think it was everybody listening, Commissioner, Councilmember Jacobs, Mayor McGee and stuff, talking with the developer, neighbors, everybody's involvement. I wanted to give kudos to Paul on the amount of time he listened to the neighborhood and what he's came in with. Your comments, Dean, all you guys about the 6 plexes for townhomes. Paul was taking notes. I think he'll come back with something different, but thank you for hashing that one out big time, you guys. Means a lot.
Okay.
What else?
No, I just forgot that the other thing I was gonna bring up related to that issue, but I don't need to,
Okay.
it's long gone now. That was item number 1.
I need to leave for work at 4:30.
Yes.
Yep, all right, no further questions, any other business? All right, item 8, we have, on the 12th, you are on schedule, all right? I am on June 9th, Commissioner Brummond, anybody have any changes?
No.
All right, I will note, on, June 2nd, I will not be here, I will be out of the country. So I will not be here for the June 2nd meeting. Is that gonna be is it a big meeting? Are we loading them up again?
I think it's 2.
They're always big meetings.
No, this
person.
one I think the discussion could be lengthy, but I believe it's just 2 items, possibly 3, but I believe it's just 2 at this point.
Okay, well, good luck to you all, and I thank you all again for your time. I'll have a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, this meeting is now closed.
All right.
And you just left these here. Oh. Or do they recycle them? Oh, I can just recycle
Oh,
this?
I'm having trouble.
So I forgot I was gonna bring up, they said there's no impact to utilities. My power went out, y'all, along with the other 1,300 people.